All right, good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can already see my two handsome young guests seated across from me. We're going to be talking about the city of Carrollton, looking back on the first quarter of 2025. My guests, David Brooks, Carrollton City Manager, and Betty Cason, Carrollton Mayor. And thanks to both of you guys for coming out here this morning just to promote some things and review some things and just catch up, projects, all that good stuff. So
good deal.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. We'll start out with an update on projects. I mean, I've got a list of some things that pop up initially, but what's jumping out at you guys right now as far as projects that are ongoing or that are coming up that'll be complete?
Well, we've completed several projects this year already, and I think it's I say all the time, our citizens are our best assets, so we want to take care of them. Of course, the big hype is the pickleball courts. They're open and going strong, and have a lot of participation out there. Just that whole lakeshore area.
There's 19 pickleball courts, right? Yeah.
19, yeah. And then, of course, the total renovation of our water park is, people are just waiting, and I saw the announcement May 24th. Mm-hmm. So, those are two things that, to me, really go to the quality of life here, and people will enjoy them, and, families, and it's things that families can do. You see on the pickleball courts, all ages, little kids, big kids, and it's great.
Is there any chance of having, like, tournaments or anything like that there, to where you're bringing in people from outside the...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We've already had the big pickleball associations reach out to Katie Mosley, our director of programs, over at the rec department. Several big organizations have already reached out and want to have tournaments. So it's going to be great for our community, but it's also going to be an economy booster as well. You bring those people in, they stay here a day or two, they do their pickleball tournament, and they go to our restaurants, buy gas, go to the convenience stores, and then they're gone, after the tournament's over with, after the weekend. So we're excited about that and be able to showcase our facilities.
Are there uniforms connected with pickleball? Or is it just white clothes and
I think some of the associations have their T-shirts and things that we saw when we had the grand opening out there. There were a lot of them that were, if you belonged to a certain, organization, they had their T-shirts and stuff. So
And the Midtown Water Park, I know there's definitely some improvements as far as parking is going to be improved. I know that. What about what else? What else we got?
Well, David said he's going to go down the slide.
All right.
That slide's huge. You're driving down 27, you can see the slide. But we've added some water features in the main pool. And then we've added an entire new splash pad beside the main pool. So there's a splash pad over there with water features. Concession stands new, restrooms. The building is new. The patio pavilion around both the splash pad and the pool's new. Moved the parking over off of ML King. Got a nice big parking lot, nicely landscaped. That we'll eventually put a playground in over there, and then the employee parking will be on the cemetery side where it used to be the main parking. And we've done some beautification and upgrades to the cemetery in terms of getting out some of that cracked up asphalt driveways, and put landscape trees in, and so we've tried to dress that side up. Nice fencing, got the montage type fencing all the way around the water park. So it's just really a nice venue.
And it's how far out? It's the only public pool through several counties, right?
Well, that in Lakeshore. Lakeshore's public as well, but yes, it's
so it brings in people from other counties.
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
And the other thing is, in that area where we're talking about Midtown, we got a grant from the highway billboard sign people. I'm not sure exactly who they are.
It's through Georgia. It's through GDOT, but it was. Yeah.
And so if you're going down 27 now, you'll notice that our entrance to our city cemetery and just all along 27 has been upgraded, and it's beautiful. We've added landscape there, and it just makes it a lot more appealing.
So I did notice that. Well, it's not Carrollton, I guess. I did notice all along I-20, even all the way towards Atlanta to Haralson County, that they're cleaning off the trees. And I don't know if they typically do that, if they're just collecting wood, or
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
other than just cleaning up the right of ways, maybe. I don't know.
How about housing? How's that look for us right now? I guess what are we catching up on that's already been approved, that's going to be built, and do you foresee many new things coming out this year?
Well, we've done our housing studies, and we try to keep up with what the needs are, and I think we've done a good job with that. We have single-family housing, we have some townhouses, and I think the last housing study we had done, and David, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, they looked at what we needed, and that shockingly was 500 and above.
Yeah.
Maybe 400 and above.
As far as cost.
Correct.
Yeah. Morgan Landing, those houses are selling for around $300,000, I think. And I'm not sure how many's left there.
Isn't there one that's close to Linda Lane and the bypass, or at least I see it promoted there? I don't know if it's
it was approved a couple of months ago. Yes,
Yeah.
And it'll be single-family household subdivision. We put I don't remember what it is, but we put a square foot minimum on it. It has to be, I think, at least 1,800 square feet. Mm-hmm. We put some pretty good conditions on that, so that should drive the $300,000 to $500,000 range, I would think. We've tried to be strategic in approving some that are affordable to young professionals, but it's just difficult to do. I mean, it's difficult I take my daughter, for instance, who's a professional school teacher, and to buy a house right now on her own is just almost impossible. Yeah. So we're trying to take all that into consideration, looking at the housing studies that we've had, what they say we need, and then we're not. You're not going to come in. So if we're 600 units short from apartments all the way to single family, $1 million homes, so 600 or 700 short is what this housing study shows. Well, you're not going to do all that in 1 year. You're not going to come out, and you got to take it incrementally. You got to go slow. Be strategic in what you're approving and where you're approving it, and then give your public safety, your infrastructure, your water sewer, give it a chance to say, okay, how does this impact that before you go on to the next one. So I think our mayor and council and our staff has done a really good job of trying to be strategic, trying to assess the needs of what we need in the city of Carrollton, as well as try to look at what the wishes of the citizens are and what they want here. And sometimes those are not always going to mesh, but we try our best to get to a good compromise in what folks want and what we need.
And I've got no doubt that it does take time, that you can't do it all at once. But I guess if you stretch it out 3 or 4 years to try and get to that 600, by the time you get to that 4 years, you're going to need 200 more. Mm-hmm. Is that possible?
Possible, yeah. And this universal. It's not just in Carrollton.
Yeah,
it's dealing with housing and affordable housing and housing shortages and things of that nature. So it's a challenge to try to maintain that balance.
And no water concerns for new developments or anything like that, because obviously with Villa Rica, I mean, it's well known that they're hurting as far as water for all their new developments coming, but no issues.
No issues, no sir. We've our folks, well before me, I had nothing to do with it, but I mean, our folks have done such a great job with our infrastructure. Looking at where the problem areas may be and going ahead and addressing them ahead of time before it becomes a problem. And over the years, we've actually, as we've grown, we've gained capacity in our water filter plant and in our wastewater plant, just because we maintain those lines and we stay on top of them. So the staff's done a great job with our infrastructure.
That clearing, talking about that clearing, it's on 27 and at the end of Rome Street, was that city's property? Because it's got the reservoir behind it, and you can see it now from 27.
No, it's not. It's not the city. I can't remember. I'm not sure who's purchased that property, but no, it is not the city's property.
Okay. All right. We're going to take our first break. Actually, before we do take a break, tariffs, big issue that's been talked a lot about. Are you guys talking to local businesses, or have you talked to our local Walmart and Target? Because they seem to be the national ones anyway. They're talking about our shelves could be empty by next month or 2 months. But what are you hearing from the local community, local businesses?
I haven't spoken to anybody specifically. I've gotten updates and briefs from our chamber and some of the things the information that they have sent out. I do know just from a revenue standpoint that folks are still spending money in Carrollton, and from being in the stores. I mean, the shelves are full right now, but who knows what that's going to be like a month from now, 2 months from now. We're hoping that everything levels out and we come to some type of compromise and get something in order to where we don't have to worry about going in, to a Walmart or Target and the shelves being empty. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right, time right now is 8:40. We'll take our first break, come back and continue our conversation with David Brooks and Betty Cason from the city of Carrollton. If you have any questions or comments, I do encourage you to post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and we'll try to share those when we do come back. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Duran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
8:42. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. My name's Colin Worthington. My guests from the city of Carrollton. We've got City Manager David Brooks and the Mayor Betty Cason. Looking at people checking in on the Facebook page this morning. We've got Bridget Stewart. She says, good morning and thank you both for all you do for our city. And Kelly Smith Height says, what can be done about the stray animals in Carrollton? Do we need to consider a new shelter?
Well, I think that's an ever-growing problem. I know the county is overrun all the time, and I think, like David said about some other things, it's not unique to us. If you watch the news, you see it all the time. We just keep encouraging people to, get them neutered and spayed and, those kind of things. But, you're just going to have that. I mean, I don't know. We haven't really talked.
Put a kibosh on it.
Yeah.
And there's really no.
Yeah.
I would say reach out to Humane Society and get guidance, and I know that they won't come out and say trap like feral cats for you and things of that nature. But there are companies that do that, and there are folks that do that type of work. But you're right. I mean, she's right. Stray animals, especially in neighborhoods and subdivisions where you got small children, and then you got this dog wandering up that you don't know. Is it nice? Is it friendly? But it's just a stray. So, but my first, I would say, contact Carroll County Animal.
Are there ordinances or policies for within the city of Carrollton regarding animals?
Well, we have a leash law. I mean, you have to have your dog on a leash. So. It's not much more extensive than that. I mean, you can have them, as long as wherever they're permitted by private property owners or private business owners, those types of things. We allow them in our parks for the most part, and we have a big event at the AMP. We'll encourage folks, to not bring their dogs, or Mayfest. I think we let everybody know we love pets, but please don't bring your dogs to Mayfest and things of that nature.
And that's coming up this weekend. We'll definitely talk about that here later on the show. And sticking with ordinances, I mean, I have seen an increase of people asking for money outside some local exits, maybe the Target and Publix, Walmart, and Ingles outside the local. What are the ordinances, and I guess what is the difference between a panhandler or whatever else? I mean, what does the ordinance say about that?
Our ordinances address panhandling and folks that go door to door, folks that set up a tent on somebody's property and start selling, T-shirts or hats or things of that nature. We do have ordinances and requirements for that. I think that what a lot of people are asking about are some of our less fortunate folks, either homeless or close to it, jobless, that are at the entrance of some of our Walmarts and Krogers and Ingles and things of that nature. And it's something that we got to look at in terms of what we can allow and what we won't allow. But those properties are owned by people, and so it's they have private owners, and in some of those situations where we've had complaints, we have to tell them you need to let the owner of the property know. They can make them leave. If they're allowing them to be there, then we as a police department or as a city cannot make them leave if they have permission from the store owner or the property owner to be there. So it's again, another one of those tough situations that people are dealing with all over the country, and we're trying to do our best to manage and navigate that type of situation.
And I hate to sound heartless for bringing it up. I mean, people have mentioned it to me, and I've seen them out there in front of Ingles. I mean, maybe one every 5 cars will reach out and help somebody out. But you don't, and to be cynical, I mean, you never know if somebody's homeless. I mean, with their signs, or
That's
if
exactly
they're a
right.
vet, or whatever they claim to be. Betty Cason and David Brooks, our guests on this morning's Community Voice program. Thinking about the plaza out there, what was the hamburger joint that was hyped up to be built out there by Publix?
Whataburger.
Whataburger, right. Remember that? Is that still in the works?
Well, our understanding is that it has to do with the big box stores there, that they have to give their consent, and I think they're still trying to negotiate.
Yeah. Give us some extra money. And you're still confident. I remember, there was concern about the in and out there. I mean, the traffic already is kind of
it's a nightmare there now. I mean, a few Christmases ago, I had a lady call me to ask me if we were going to put a police officer down at the Publix because the traffic was backed all the way up to Walgreens, and I said, No, because, it is what it is. I mean, 2 days before Christmas, and you're trying to get into Publix, so is 90 million other people. But, I mean, when they first told me where it was going to be, I thought, Jesus, right there at the intersection of the bypass, and you've got people. One morning, I might have been the weekend, I don't remember, but the traffic, when I topped the hill there at Kroger, you could see traffic all the way to Walmart intersection. And I mean,
that one's always pretty bad. Coming up from like 5 o'clock. That one's
I mean, this was like during the day. I mean, it was Sunday. I now remember it was Sunday.
Churchgoers.
And just on Friday afternoon, it is a nightmare. Yeah. And to add something like a Whataburger, I was trying to remember, they were talking about it on the radio the other day. They had opened one somewhere, and they'd had to basically detour people for them to get into the Whataburger. So, yeah.
And Chipotle started out that way, too. I mean, Popeye started out that way, when that first opened up. I mean, people were lined up. Let me get back to the panhandling thing. Because sometimes, people have lost their jobs or they can't get a job because they might have a felony on their record. Well, how does the city approach that? I mean, if you have positions open and somebody with a felony, I mean, obviously if they, strangled somebody, you're not going to accept that. But how do you approach that?
It's, I'm a big believer in second chances. I think, folks have given me second chances throughout my entire career. If they hadn't, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And, everybody's going to make mistakes. So I say that to say we look at the degree of the
individual basis.
And what job they're applying for, and who they're going to be interacting with, and to hire somebody in the recreation department that has a big criminal record is probably not going to happen. But in our in other jobs that we have, then we can give folks second chances and opportunities, especially if it's been a while,
And people are going to find that stuff out. I mean, people, because of the community, small community, and plus the internet. I mean, people find this stuff out eventually, and they're going to probably come to you if
Yeah, and there are a lot of employers now that are offering programs to people coming out. We have the re-entry program here that has worked, I think, really well, and. It's like David said, some of them are just young and stupid mistakes, and, that stays on their record. But a lot of the records, I know they're having different places are bringing people in to try to get their record cleaned up. And I know as a probate court judge, we issued weapons carry license, and we would get the background checks in, and there would be all kind of things on there. And when I would bring the people in to talk about it, they said that was supposed to be dismissed, or that was supposed to be, discharged, or whatever. I completed the first offender or whatever, and it just doesn't, it doesn't get off the record. So I think our police department has done that once.
I know we've had one session with our police department, some judges and attorneys they brought folks in to help them.
And I think this is the drug court, and there's a couple other courts that are being offered that's supposed to clear that too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that, I think that helps, because a lot of times it just gets lost in the shuffle, and people don't know it unless they go to have a background check done.
All right, we got about 8 minutes left. Before we take this break, hype up Mayfest for us. It's coming up this weekend. Is it just one day?
One day.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And what does that all involve?
A lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work. Yeah, our marketing department and that whole group, and the support groups from the city too. I mean, it's I don't remember exactly how many applications April said she had this year, but
as far as vendors
go.
It was over 300.
Yeah.
They all accepted?
Oh, well, we don't have room for 300.
No.
we got over 100. I mean, we take as many as we possibly can.
You try to be diverse with them too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
17 people selling necklaces.
Correct.
And it's so what? I guess the square is closed off.
Yes.
Yes.
As far as traffic, and I mean, it's going to be closed off. You think Friday night? Is that the plan? And then
I'm not sure what time they'll close it off. It'll either be really early. They may start closing it off around 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday. I think is what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And plenty of parking outside. Yeah. Okay. And what were the hours for Mayfest?
8 o'clock.
The vendors have to be there early, of course, to set up. But I think it actually opens like 9ish maybe, and then it goes to 4.
I'm not sure it goes quite to 4, one
maybe
or 2,
3.
something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. You can tell we just show up.
And we expect up to 10,000 people. Is that possible?
There'll be people everywhere. Every quad will be full. There'll be people down Bradley, down Rome, down Noonan. I mean, it'll be packed.
All right. We'll take our final break here. Come back with about 6 minutes. Community Voice is brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
The Entrepreneur Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in business and leadership. Critical areas include identifying entrepreneurial characteristics, selecting a value position, and business model development. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Consider the Mobius strip. Take a strip of paper, twist it, connect the ends. This connection forms a continuous loop. Seamless, infinite. That's how your healthcare should be too. At Tanner Health, the Mobius is our symbol and our promise, representing our continuum of care and our commitment that the services you need will be here for you always. We're not just changing healthcare, we're redefining it. See more at tanner.org.
854, welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program. My name is Colin Worthington. My guests from the city of Carrollton, we have City Manager David Brooks and Mayor Betty Cason. Got about 6 minutes left in the show. SPLOST, we had a new SPLOST proposal put before voters in November of this year, and I know some cities, and it may have been all the cities together talking, they've had their kind of early discussions on percentages and maybe projects. Any change in the percentages? Because it's been, 5 years, so maybe Carrollton's grown a little bit, and maybe another city has shrunk a little bit, but I guess Temple's probably grown percentage-wise, I think the most.
I think so.
Yeah, is it any effect? The percentage?
There could possibly be a little effect here and there. Like you said, Temple's grown, Villa Rica's grown, we've grown. So there could, and we don't have a problem going based on population percentage. We're fine with that. That's basically what it was last time. Mm-hmm. I've not talked with any other of the city officials, any other city managers about it. I have talked with Chairman Morgan once. We just had a preliminary brief discussion, but we'll start within the next month or so sitting down and going through that and putting together our lists of needs and the things that we would do were it to be passed again, and we're really hopeful that we can pass another SPLOST. It's just it's the best tax that you can have, because you have about 30 to 35% of the revenue comes from folks who do not live in Carroll County. It comes from folks who are visiting and purchasing things here. And we have such a large amount of people who come from Harrison County, Heard County, East Alabama area to come and shop and buy groceries and eat at our restaurants and things of that nature. So it's great to have them making a contribution to the different things that we have going on in the cities and in the county.
I think voters kind of have a different perspective of the e-Splost than they do the regular Splost, and that may have seen that earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that concern you at all? Because, I mean, the numbers have come down maybe 20% support in the last 10, 15 years for e-Splost, but I think the regular Splost has pretty much maintained the same. I mean, but you guys still feel comfortable with that? You don't get as much pushback as the education Splost might have got this last time?
I don't think so. I think if you look at what we do with it, I mean, we're able to buy new fire trucks, and we're not talking about, $60,000, $70,000. We're talking about $750,000 vehicles, so, and even higher. But, these are the things that if people would, just stop and look and think, it is, like David said, it's the people that come into our city that help us buy those things. And so it's a win-win, again, to me. I mean, you're not putting that burden on the property owners and the store owners. It's kind of equal out. I mean, the sales tax, this is where this money comes from. And that a lot of people contribute to that, not just property owners.
Is it a municipal election in November?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it will go with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would encourage people to go out and actually vote for that. About items that you guys expect to put in that proposal, in that referendum for the city of Carrollton?
We haven't sat down and just had specific items. There are a few things that we've talked about. Mm-hmm. We need some recreation upgrades. East Carroll's been out there for a long time. I'm over 20 years, and we've not really done anything over there. We are busting at the seams at our senior center. We desperately need a new senior center. And we've got a growing senior population, and it's very, very active. And so we desperately need a new senior center. We, got infrastructure projects. We've got police equipment. And, one of the things about SPLOST is you can't pay salaries. You can't pay benefits. But it helps us to be able to stay fairly competitive with the private sector in terms of salary and benefits, because we can buy technology, we can purchase vehicles, we can build buildings, we can do capital projects such as the water park, the pickleball courts, things of that nature. We can provide the amenities that people need. We can provide the infrastructure and public safety that people want, and still continue through our general fund and our water and sanitation fund to stay competitive in terms of salary and benefits. So it's a great asset for us.
We've got 1 minute left. Are there any jobs open with the city of Carrollton right now?
Yes, sir. Go on the webpage and fill out the application. We're hiring.
All right, very good. Guys, thank you for coming out this morning.
You're very welcome.
You want a big shout out to anybody? Hi to mom or anything like that before we go?
Just to our employees. They do a great job.
Very nice. Again, thank you guys, and thank you for listening and watching this morning to the WLBB Community Voice program. On tomorrow's show, we'll have Josh back in this seat, and I believe he's promoting some Derby event. Is this weekend the Kentucky Derby?
Yes,
okay.
it
Yes.
is.
Well, then, we'll be promoting an event that's going on here locally, so you'll want to tune in for that show. I don't know if it's a fundraiser or it's just a bunch of guys getting rowdy watching horses, but we'll find out tomorrow on the Community Voice, which has been brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.